So, bear with me as we mill around. Okay, my valve is open. So at about 4,100 psi, we're going to use the booster pump to push us up to 46. Now, because this is a slow fill, it takes a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to close the valve, but I am not bleeding the line, okay? Because this way the gauge tells me what my fill usage is per shot. This is the boring stuff that you guys, that I do for you, so you don't have to be wasting slugs and everything else. And you notice I have my ear protectors on because this barks. So, all right guys, what we're looking at here is loading, putting in a slug. Because some guys feel that if the bullet doesn't just go right in immediately, you know, it's like it's too big. It's not. There's going to be resistance because the barrel lands and grooves are right to the edge. So just get your bullet started. You get a little resistance, push it close, you're seated, you know. it's not going to, you know, if a bullet just slides in too easy, the bullet's the wrong size. It's undersized. All right, let's do it again. Okay, and I'm trying to do it from this side so you can see it. So it goes in, there's a little bit of resistance. Now it went. Okay, that's fine. Closes, it's fine. Take two. So the funkiest bullet I think we have is the Sabo. As you can see, you know, because of the head, just get it started, all right? Give it a shove. It's seated, it's sized, it's perfect. The reason, again, that it's so tight right there is you are engaging the rifling immediately. So you're gonna have some resistance. So when you look at your two bands, you'll see the rifling on there, all right? Sabo's in the house. All right, fellas. 1082, you're going to see some barrel jump, muzzle flip, whatever you want to call it. And on these big ones, you better bloody well make sure that this is locked in position, because these babies are big. That is muzzle jump. 25-pound bag of lead. Power. All right, guys. Okay, I pushed this one because I've got the booster pump. 4,800 PSI. 1082 grains on this hollow point, 822 feet a second. Doesn't sound super fast, right? With that grainage, 1,623 foot-pounds. 1,623. You heard it in the house. Mr. Hollow Point rules. Whoo! If you're buying anybody else 12 gauge, you're buying non-pure awesome, because this is pure awesome, baby. Pure awesome. Woo! Ric Flair in the house. Well, well, well. I've just finished about a 6-hour session. Whew. We've put close to 400 bullets through this beast. I won't even tell you how many pounds of lead that is that I'm going to have to recast to do it all over. So, the AEA Zeus 12 gauge, I call it the 12 gauge slug gun, but it's the 72 cal. But I still call it the 12 gauge. Let me put this down so I don't get a hernia. So, I ran all the weights that you've seen, and I added one. I forgot to add in the 810, so I threw an 810 in there. 5 shots, 4,600 PSI, ending with 2,400, 2,500 PSI. The consumption per shot was pretty much the same all the way across the board, from the lightweight 380 all the way up to the 1082. I did not do the big 1200 grain solid. I didn't see a need to deal with that. Plus, I've only got 3 anyways. The speeds were dropping, you know, at those big numbers. I'm beat, and this has a lot of power. I had condensation dripping off this barrel. That's how much we shot this thing. Now, you'll see in the chart, once I put it up, that I feel that there's a sweet spot where the air consumption to bullet weight is a little more efficient. Most of the spread between the PSI usage is what I want to say. The PSI usage between shot number 1 and shot number 2 is pretty big. It's around 900 PSI. The shot usage between 2 through 5 is much better. It's more like 400 and 300 PSI per shot. So I think the sweet spot's going to be around 4,000 PSI. I need to do a little more testing, so don't quote me on that. But if you want just bang out that first shot being the most powerful, you're going to need your 4,500 PSI. Now, it's stated on here, the maximum working pressure is 5,000. I only came close to that once just to goof off and get some numbers. But more than likely, I'm going to be filling somewhere around 4,000 to 4,200 is going to be my cutoff. Like I said, I have to do a little more testing because all the numbers that I did, shot 1 is 4,600 PSI, shot 2 was at 3,700 PSI, then 33, 29, 26. So you can see the consumption is a lot tighter on 2, 3, 4, and 5. So to me, air is like gasoline. Instead of doing, dropping a whole shot and just burning everything up on one, I'd like to use the other ones and get my spread a little bit tighter. But that'll be the outdoor video. This is just the power video. Oh, let's take a look at the different slugs that we were shooting. Here is what we are starting with. I have lots of assortments, weights, styles, and looks. We got the little 380, the 440, the 470 Savo. We got some solids here, round ball. This is my beautiful 630. And then some monsters here. 760, 880, 1082, and this big whomping 1275. Now I don't know if all of these will work. That's part of what the testing and the fun is all about. So I will get started on this, guys, and give you the results at the end of the video. So with the booster pump, we drained down 4 tanks of air. Four tanks of air. Like I said, I was doing 4,600. It's kind of hard to get the needle exactly every single time with the pump stroke. So you'll see on the chart the numbers kind of fluctuate a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Everything that I give you is pretty much just a rule of thumb. It's just a starting point. It's an average, so you know, hey, this is where I can expect to be. So if you've got a tank that'll only do 4,300 PSI, not a problem. You're still getting 4 shots at 3,700. So if you can only do 4,000, that's not a problem. You're still going to have a nice shot string. So don't feel intimidated. If you can't get 45, 4,600 in your tank every time. That's another reason why we have the charts. There's a lot of information in there to be used. So, you've seen in the close-up how the bullets fit and what I do with them. Okay. So, if it's a little snug and you feel it's a, hey Bob, I feel it's a little too snug, not a problem. Send them back. I'll size it down a fraction more for you. But, as you can see, I'm not having any issues. You give it a good closing, it seats, it's there. The only slugs that I seem to a little fractional goofy is the Sabo, because you're dealing with, you know, a front and a back. There's no center. And the balls balls have to be slightly oversized because there's so little bearing surface in the balls. Always make sure that the flat spot, because these are cast, they're not, you know, pressed in a forge machine. There's a flat spot. You either have the flat spot forward in the barrel or backwards in the barrel. Just you don't want the flat spot hitting in the lands and grooves. Little tight fit, just get it in. The closing of the handle seats that ball the rest of the way in there. All right, balls. Let me give you advance notice. Shooting a 72 cal slug gun is not like shooting a 45 or 30 cal or 357 or even the 50 cal. You will notice with each bullet the different weight, length, and shape. You will feel that as it torques in the barrel, especially if you're shooting freehand. You'll feel those lands and grooves gripping that slug, and you'll feel it wanting to torque in your hands when you shoot freehand. The bullets will group, but they will fly different. You can be dead on, let's say for example with the 630 grain, you're dead on with that. Well, you switch over and start slinging your balls, they're going to group. As they grip and twist, they may group to the left and a little bit low. They'll have the pattern, but your balls are going to be swinging this way. Okay? With the Sabot, the 570 Sabos, that will hold a group, but that may be swinging to the right and high and holding a group. All right? You got to keep that in mind. Remember, I've been doing 12 gauge slug guns since 2007. All right? It is just different. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay? I'm not a math magician. I can't tell you the reasons why. I just know that it is. Even with the 58 cal, I've started noticing that. When we got into the 12, you really get to notice it. So don't be having a conniption fit and getting your panties in a knot, because as you're swapping different slugs around, you're getting a group here or a group there. It's going to happen. You're shooting huge hunks of lead. Okay, they're going to act different. So just be aware of that. A lot of different slugs here to play with. The accuracy outdoor testing will be where we're going to, take the cream of the crop. It's like I like this, this, and this. I always like to recommend a light, a medium, and a heavy. But everybody's different on their style and what they do and what they like. But we'll start out at 50, 60 yards and then see if we can move back to 100 without getting poison ivy on us. And that's what we'll be trying. That is about it at the moment for our indoor power testing. You can see it jump, you can see it bounce, you can see the muzzle flip that this baby has. Like I said, I'm waiting for Donnie to make his donkey schlong for the 12 gauge to go on here. I want to thank AEA. It's a wonderful product. I really look forward to hunting with it this year. Ben, thank you. Tom, thank you. Terry Fox, you're the man. James at Central Florida Air Guns, we love you, brother. And Zachary Matthews, you introduced us to the AEA in America. So, however the homies do it, a heartfelt thank you for everything that's going on. Keep the good products coming, and we'll come back at you more with the outdoor video next. Mr. Hollow Point, peace out.